To 100% Astro's Playroom, I'll have to beat 4 main levels, a final boss fight, complete 8 speedruns, and collect over 150 different collectibles. But before all that, Sony first had to teach me very difficult technical skills, like pushing the triggers, moving the thumbsticks, and most importantly, drawing a penis. Finally, the story is set. We are on a giant PS5 floating in space, and our goal? Not sure there is one, but despite that, our little Astro shoots to life by getting thrown onto the floor. As we meander around the inside, we free a big, cute computer chip guy who unlocks the labo and our first main levels for us. Isn't he sweet? I would die for him. First, we jump into Memory Meadow. The first area of Memory Meadow, Gusty Gateway, is where a lot of our own firsts happen. Our first achievement, our first time getting pelted by garbage, and our first time getting blown. But seriously though, during this level, I simply just went through it, collecting necessary items and killing enemies when I needed to. After getting tornadoed into the next level, Fast Lane Fields, we zipped ourselves into our Super Astro Ball, rolling around by swiping my finger on the touchpad in my desired direction. In this level, we rolled around flower fields, got a strike, got bullied by a vengeful pin, and collected more items. Just a heads up, I'm collecting things in every level, so from here on out I won't be mentioning them unless there's something notable about it. At the end of Fast Lane Fields, we took an elevator ride up to the 3rd level, Electro Cloud. Psych! I missed a puzzle piece in level 2, so I grabbed that really quick. Then we come to Electro Cloud. Here we flew across the sky with a rubber duck who had some kind of prolapse thing going on. Okay. Anyway, as we make our way through the level, we escape the wrath of Thor, the god of thunder's lightning strikes, and Stuart, god of computing's thwomp butt smashing, leading to the apex of the level where I ponder going forward, but I forgot some collectibles, so I went and grabbed it, then went back to Billy the huge robot, who brings us to the final level of Memory Meadow, which is Bumper Broadway. This level is similar to level 2, where we turn into an Astro Ball, except it's harder and cooler. There's this pinball section where I got passed around like a disease at a childcare facility, and then something horrible happened. Balls on ice. This section had one of the hardest artifacts to get, but after a series of completely legal maneuvers, I eventually got it and ended up beating the level. At the end of this one though, we see a cult-like assortment of TVs all showing the PS1 startup, where at the top we pull a giant wire revealing the quote-unquote final artifact of this world. The cutscene takes us to the labo area computer chip guy opened for us earlier, which is where we can see our artifacts, the puzzle we're collecting pieces for, and the gacha machine where we need to spin to get everything in it. I do a quick gacha section here, but I will get the rest of it later. For now, we load into the plaza and are met with a suspicious cutscene with a silly box we'll get into later. In the plaza, I also did some platforming to get 4 extra puzzle pieces, then hopped right into level 1 of the GPU jungle, Render Forest. As soon as I loaded in, I beat up a group of campers and said hello to a Crash cosplayer. I also found this artifact that looked exactly like a microphone I used to hide under my bed. I saw the hunter from Bloodborne, and then further into the level, I almost got Indiana Jones'd, but then got an achievement right after. Near the end of the level, I missed the obvious last puzzle piece and tried to find it for 10 minutes before eventually giving up, going back to the end of level, and then finding it right there. Immediately after, we jump into level 2, Teraflop Treetops, where we inhabit a monkey suit and struggle to climb at first, but eventually I figure it out. We also struggle to learn to fling ourselves from poles, and after getting the tech down, we grab more collectibles and go right into the next level, Ray Trace Ruins. Here we say hi to Billy once more, but this time he can't help us. Instead, we get help by equipping ourselves with an RPG, aka a ranged plunging gear, to kill enemies and blow up obstacles. Using the RPG, we have a mini boss fight that reminds me of the Battle Rock Galaxy from Mario. We beat it on our first try. After that, I assume this guy is getting bullied, so just like Tame Impala, I let it happen and moved on to level 4 of GPU Jungle, Mount Motherboard. Near the beginning of this level, another monkey mechanic is introduced, where once again, I proceed to struggle to find out how it works. Once I do though, I get another artifact, and after many rocks, pitfalls, and evil birds, we ride a chip to the peak of the mountain. Grabbing the PS4 here at the top completes GPU Jungle for now. Back in the plaza, another symbol pops up on the silly box, seemingly needing 2 more symbols. But for now, we jump into the next set of levels, SSD Speedway, starting with Turbo Trail. I skillfully turn around at the start to find a puzzle piece, and I fail a jump made for babies. Moving on, the gimmick of this level is slingshotting yourself and then gliding. I struggled with this despite the very obvious tutorial doing everything short of playing the game for me. But after using my Mega Mind, I enter a flow state and glide across and also grab the artifact. I immediately had to glide again, of course, except this time I was locked in and it made it to the next section on my second try. Here I have the most avoidable death of all time, but I learned from my mistake and was then able to glide to a rocket ship, leading us into level 2, Caching Caves. This level has us pilot a rocket ship in a side-scroller fashion, flying past rocks, vegetation, and nuclear weaponry. At the end of this level, once again, I miss a very obvious puzzle piece, causing me to replay the level over again and walk right past it, until finally playing it a third time and then finding it. With that out of the way, we walk into the next level, Deep Data Space. This is honestly one of my favorite levels. It has a great atmosphere, mostly fun collectibles, and an awesome minigun annihilation section. Unfortunately, everything has to come to an end, so we board another rocket for the final level of SSD Speedway, Orbital Obstacles. We start off this level by blowing up rocks for money, and then going inside a giant rock for even more money. This level is a lot tighter and more controlled than level 2 was, with a few more tricky sections like this one, but it's nothing I can't handle. Notably, we flew into a secret part of this level that was very cool. If you're a fan of witty jokes like that, why not subscribe to the channel? I plan to 100% many other games, so drop your suggestions in the comments. With my shameless call to action out of the way, we fight an evil laser boss, and to beat him we blow up some balls, and then his final explosion blasts us out of the facility where we complete SSD Speedway. Again, another symbol on the silly box, but first we have one more world to go through, Cooling Springs. My personal favorite world starts off with Bot Beach, which is different to most levels as it's mostly open world. In the open world we find Kratos and Boy, snag collectibles, and demolish everything that stands in the way. But that's pretty much it for Bot Beach, so now we walk through a sandstorm into the next level, Springy Spa. This is another vehicle level where you hop around as a springy frog, which is my favorite vehicle. Nothing says intense platforming like bouncing uncontrollably into freezing waters. In this level, you have to aim and time your hops perfectly, or you'll end up with brain frog. Get it, like brain fog? At the end of this level, we slide down into Frigid Flows. Here, it's a perfect holiday season in Frigid Flows with snow, ice skating, and death. We also ride the melting ice caps, which brings us to the end of the level and to the final level. Sorry, the second to last level, Hotel Hop-A-Lot. This hotel is full of amazing robo-life, like dolphins, squids, and even frozen frogs. After we get unfrozen, we play a little ball for an achievement and went through the Yellow Switch Palace from Super Mario World. Finally, we rode a lily pad to the top of the level with a rooftop pool and a PS3. Now it's time for the real final level. All 4 symbols were collected, so the silly box was torn open and revealed itself as a time machine, taking us to when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But there's actually a dinosaur boss fight. The T-Rex does look pretty cool, but the fight is honestly pretty unremarkable and pretty easy, so after punching his eyeballs, he goes down like nothing. And we can go on to the... Anyway, Phase 2 is almost exactly the same, with just a few more moves, so this phase also goes down quickly and painlessly. With the Dino's defeat, we are rewarded with fireworks and an interactive credit sequence where we get extra coins. After that, Sony has one more thing for us. More artifacts, which are PS5 related objects. Now that we've completed the main story, if you could call it that, we need to finish grabbing the rest of the collectibles, most of which are gotten from the gacha machine. So first, I spend 4,200 coins on a bunch of rolls to knock a good chunk out of the way. Next, I decided to go around the Labo and Plaza areas getting miscellaneous achievements like You Got a Trophy, Project Neo, and The Last Guy. After that, I had to go back into most of the worlds to get level-specific achievements like Jumping Splash for jumping in a fountain, Twisting Metal for spin jumping on ice multiple times, and Little Rolling Star by making a giant snow boulder, to name a few of them. That's what most of the rest of the 100% was, to be honest. Go to an area, do a specific achievement, go on to the next area, do another specific achievement, and so on. Not that it was necessarily bad, there's just not much to mention about it specifically. During all this, I went back to the Labo to get everything out of the gacha machine, and I did! And then more prizes came out, so I guess we'll have to grab the rest of them later. After that somewhat disappointment, I went ahead and wasted 15 minutes wandering around some of the levels looking for these hidden bots. I killed every enemy, explored every corner, and assumed I had done everything. I ended up looking up a guide for these locations, which at first I was upset about, but then I was even more upset about how stupid these hidden bots were. These hidden bots were cool references, yes. And that was the only good thing about them. Each of them only spawn in their own specific way. For example, to spawn in the hidden bot in Bot Beach, you have to randomly walk over 4 starfish in a specific order. Or another example, to spawn in the hidden bot in Render Forest, you have to stand still in a bush. What? How would anyone think to do that? Like, what was Sony thinking? Anyway, it was horrible, and the puzzles to get them out of their cages were also pretty dumb in my opinion, but not as silly as those spawning mechanics. Sorry, got a little heated there, but anyway, after that infuriating fiasco, we got to have some actual fun by doing the speedrun section. For the final achievement for the 100%, we had to get a total speedrun time for the specific speedrun levels of under 7 minutes, just about a minute per level. These speedruns were mostly fun and somewhat difficult, which was a nice change of pace, since most of the game was relatively easy. Once we finished zooming in the final speedrun, the final achievement popped, giving us 100% completion. But it's not quite over yet. I left some of the rainbow balls in the gacha machine, and even though it doesn't count towards completion to my knowledge, I needed to get them in the spirit of the 100%. So I used the coins I had left to open some extras, and I had to do a little bit of coin grinding to open the rest. But after that, we finally 100%ed Astro's Playroom. And that's it, all done. Every artifact, puzzle piece, speedrun, hidden bot, all the gacha nonsense. But I loved most of it, so I would definitely recommend this 100%. This is my first time doing a video like this, so if you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.